Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs class. I hope you are doing well. Today we are going to cover 21st March CA. Yeah, so 21st March CA, let's cover the first segment, ESI Finance and Business News. First news which you have is regarding Yashaa Global Capital. The Yashaa Global Capital, which is a venture capital, it has basically got permission to establish a global sports venture capital fund. That's why in news. So this Yashaa Global Capital, which is a venture capital fund, focuses on sports investments particularly. Sports investments पे focus करती है. So it has got its financial service permission from the Financial Services Regulatory Authority of Abu Dhabi Global Market, right? So remember this thing, and it will be establishing its venture capital fund focusing upon global sports. Also remember, it has rebranded from the One Global Ventures to Yashaa Global Capital recently to reflect its global ambitions. So remember this name, Yashaa Global Capital. Next one is the National Stock Exchange has launched a dedicated website for municipal bonds. You see, constantly municipal bonds काफी news में है. There are efforts going on to boost up funding through municipal bonds and provide adequate funding to these 3 or 3rd tier of governance, right? So municipal bonds के लिए National Stock Exchange ने, remember किसने? NSE. NSE has launched a dedicated website to enhance the credibility as well as visibility of bonds market in the country. This is the website, which is www.indiamunicipalbonds.com. Okay, and it will also showcase the historical performance of India's first municipal bond index, the Nifty India Municipal Bond Index. So this can also be very, very important. Everyone note here, India's first municipal bond index is Nifty India Municipal Bond Index. So please remember this thing. Next one is the NPCI has issued new guidelines for implementing numeric UPI IDs. You all know this thing. We have already covered that, right? जितनी भी UPI IDs हैं, उनमें जो special characters हैं, they will now not be in use as per the guidelines which we have covered earlier also. So numeric guidelines, numeric IDs implement करने के लिए they have come up with new guidelines. What are these? Let's see. So first of all, their overall goal is to enhance interoperability and user convenience while ensuring compliance from UPI member banks, payment service providers and third-party application providers by 31st March 2025. This is not so much important, but what you can remember is the latest guideline emphasizes use of mobile number revocation list MNRL and digital intelligence platform by banks and PSBs. So it is asking banks as well as PSPs ki use these mobile number revocation list and select all these things, right? और कल हमने कवर किया था कि जो भी inactive mobile number linked है UPI ID से उनको भी they want to eliminate, right? They want to clear it off. So this is going on. For this, they have said UPI apps, they must obtain explicit user consent before seeding or porting numerical UPI IDs. बिना user consent के you cannot port the number to the numeric ID, right? So you must get the consent of the user. Then banks and PSPs must update the payment service providers. Banks and PSPs must update their database weekly. Weekly उनको database update करना है weekly to reflect the recycled or churned mobile numbers, right? Yeah, so we are providing you banking and finance for all the examinations, but the rest of the CA is provided in the paid course. If you go through that PDF, it would be sufficient for all the examinations. In the class, we are discussing regulatory ESI and banking finance news. So weekly data update करना है. Then what is the reason why they are doing all these things is to minimize transaction errors caused by outdated user information. Sometimes you see the information is outdated, so ट्रांजेक्शन से रिलेटेड एरर्स को मिनिमाइज करने के लिए देन फ्रॉम April 1st 2025 द पेमेंट सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स एंड यूपीआई एप्स दे मस्ट सबमिट मंथली रिपोर्ट्स टू द एनपीसीआई. और यहां से 1st April से दे आर रिक्वायर्ड टू सबमिट मंथली रिपोर्ट्स टू द NPCI so that this process can be spearheaded. All right, now this is very important news coming here. Try to understand it carefully. Very, very important. From regulatory bodies segment. SEBI has relaxed skin in the game rules for MF employees effective from 1st April. Let's see what is it. So basically what is in the news? The SEBI has introduced a regulatory framework to ensure that the designated employees of asset management companies, जो आपकी asset management companies होती हैं, the fund houses which manage your assets, right? Asset management companies जो हैं उनके जो designated employees हैं, they have their interest aligned with those of mutual fund investors. Unit holders जो होते हैं, mutual fund investors जो होते हैं, इनके interest are aligned. Now this framework is known as the skin in the game requirement. इसको they call as skin in the game requirement. Skin in the game. Now first of all, who are these designated employees from the asset management companies, right? So let's understand. The designated employees are the key officials, particularly the key officials of such AMCs who play a crucial role in the fund management and decision making. जो भी आपका एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी है उसके डिसीजन मेकिंग में, फंड मैनेजमेंट में दे प्ले अ की रोल और क्रूशियल रोल. सो दे आर की ऑफिशियल्स. नाउ दे कैन इंक्लूड लाइक चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर, चीफ इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफिसर, फंड मैनेजर्स, compliance officers, etc. Now I hope this much is clear, right? When we are saying designated officers, now you know who are these designated officers, right? From asset management companies. Now, what is the regulation? How they are trying to align the interest of such designated officers from AMCs with those of the mutual fund investors? Let's see. First thing, what does the regulation entail? Under the new framework, you have mandatory investment in mutual funds. So they have made certain proportion as per the category. Slabs हैं कुछ, अभी उस पर भी आएंगे. Slabs के basis पे कुछ certain mandatory percentage of investment in the mutual fund. This is the catch here. News is all about this thing, right? Mandatory investment in mutual funds. Now, a portion of the salaries and incentives of these designated employees must be invested in the mutual fund schemes managed by their AMCs. अभी बोल रहे हैं कि आपकी asset management company है, जो आप म्यूचुअल फंड मैनेज कर रहे हैं, यू शुड हैव अ vested interest into it, right? That shows that you are committed, and then you know if you have your own interest, you will be liable for any kind of risk. So you will be managing it properly. That's the point. यहां तक बात समझ आई everyone? Tell me yes or no. ये सब क्यों चल रहा है? The story is they want asset management companies के designated employees should also invest in the mutual funds being managed by them, because you see lots of issues are there कि mutual funds में पैसा कहाँ जा रहा है, कैसे जा रहा है, किसी को नहीं पता, right? Lot of say a bubble kind of is building in the mutual fund. So ये जो allegations है to just kind of sort it out. Yes, you have to be committed to the portfolio. That's why. तो न्यूज अब आपको समझ आ गई. Now you will be able to understand the slab. Certain portion of the salaries and income. तो CTC का कुछ परसेंटेज होगा. अभी हम देखेंगे कि क्या क्या स्लैब है. ओके. So this ensures that they have a personal stake in the funds they manage by themselves. Also, the investments made under this regulation will have a lock-in period, ensuring that employees cannot sell their holdings immediately. Lock-in period भी होंगे. ऐसा ना हो you are able to manipulate the market, right? So your investments will be locked in for a specific period. It is going to be effective from 1st April 2025. इसकी implementation date भी आप याद रख सकते हैं, 1st April 2025. Now let's see, these are the slabs I was talking about, right? So this slab is talking about the gross annual CTC, जो आपका gross income है, ठीक है, डेजिग्नेटेड एम्प्लॉइज का दिस इज मिनिमम परसेंटेज टू बी रिक्वायर्ड टू बी इन्वेस्टेड which with inclusion of the ESOP if any. ESOPs भी इसमें included है, अगर आप ESOPs में भी कर रहे हैं so ESOPs भी included है, ठीक है. Employee stock ownership plan, ESOPs क्या होता है आपको पता है, which gives you the ownership in the company. तो ESOPs भी included है, so including this minimum percentage required to be invested, then minimum percentage required to be invested with exclusion of ESOPs. So दोनों categories हमारे पास हैं, with ESOPs, without ESOPs. What are the requirement? You have to remember this. So slab 0, 0 से start हो रहा है slab 0. Slab 0 is जिस भी designated AMC के employee की gross CTC is below 25 lakhs, then there is no minimum requirement, right? No minimum requirement. Without ESOP भी no minimum requirement. तो below 25 lakh दोनों category में not required to invest. But second slab, which is slab 1, gross CTC above 25 lakhs but below 50 lakhs. Above 25 lakhs but below 50 lakhs, 10% is mandatory. 10% of your gross annual CTC, नेट इनकम टैक्स एंड एनी स्टैट्यूटरी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस जो भी हैं, 10% आपको बस ध्यान रखना है, इज मैंडेटरी टू बी इन्वेस्टेड इंक्लूडिंग ESOPs, राइट? एंड एक्सक्लूडिंग ESOPs 12.5% would be mandatory. Slab 1, please remember, 10% including ESOPs, excluding ESOPs 12.5%. Then slab 2, gross CTC above 50 lakhs but less than 1 crore, so 14% would be mandatory including ESOPs and 17.5% excluding ESOPs. Slab 3, gross CTC above 1 crore, where gross CTC is above 1 crore, you will have 18% including of ESOPs mandatory and excluding would be 22.5%. These are the slabs, okay? I hope it is clear. Also, the AMC shall have the option to adopt option A or option B for its designated employees. मतलब आपके पास choice है, आप with ESOP करना चाहते हो या without ESOP करना चाहते हो, that will be your choice. But either of them you choose, these are the mandatory requirements. Everyone got this thing? So this can be important one, okay? Remember that. इन दोनों categories के बीच में आपके पास option है, but whatever you opt, in that case, you have to adhere to it. Also, इस purpose के लिए जो employees हैं, they are categorized into 2 groups. जो employees हैं, they are also categorized into 2 categories, category A and category B. Category A में जो आपके chief executive officers हैं, chief information officers हैं, they are included, fund managers, key investment staff, and category B में, so basically these category A, they will be following the slab system based on their CTC. Category B जो है, they are those who directly report to the CEO etc. and they will be limited to slab 0 or slab 1 regardless of the CTC. So this is also something which you can remember, क्योंकि जो top के designated officers हैं, इनको slabs follow करने हैं, but generally इनकी salary उतनी नहीं होती है, so slab 0, slab 1 तक रहेंगे category B के employees. To make it easy, इन्होंने employees को भी 2 categories में divide कर दिया है. Lock-in periods होंगे, that would be further notified, and employees retiring at superannuation age, the lock-in will be waived. Oh, sorry. Just a second. Right. So here you see there will be a lock-in period. Now this is it. इससे ज़्यादा इस न्यूज़ में कुछ भी नहीं है. Next one. SEBI has asked registered intermediaries wishing to advertise on social media platforms like Google and Meta to register on these platforms using the contact details like email ID and mobile number. So basically next news says SEBI wants the market entities to use their registered contact details for advertising on social platforms. बस इतनी ही न्यूज़ है, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ भी important इस न्यूज़ में नहीं है. Now this is something again important coming from SEBI. What is it saying? SEBI has proposed to allow startup founders to hold ESOPs. Startup founders to hold ESOPs instead of cash-based remuneration in the early. So basically, earlier what was the thing is startup founders they often receive the ESOPs instead of the cash-based remuneration. In the early years, you know that cash की जगह ESOP मिल जाता है. So SEBI has allowed startup founders to retain these ESOPs even after the company goes public. तो पहले क्या था? If you are going public, if you suppose you are launching your IPO, in that case you were not allowed to hold the ESOPs, right? This much is clear, everyone? Earlier norm was कि अगर आपको public जाना है, आपको अपना IPO निकालना है, right? तो ESOPs were not allowed to be held. But now here they are allowing all these startups even to hold the ESOPs even after the company goes public. This is the news. Even after the company goes public. This is the thing. So remember that. Then next news we have is RBI has imposed penalty recently on 2 banks. So this can be important. Citibank and IDBI Bank Limited. Remember that. Citibank and IDBI Bank Limited. Citibank पे almost 36.28 lakh की for the contravention of directions related to reporting of transactions undertaken under the liberalized remittances scheme. IDBI Bank पे for not undertaking due diligence while processing the inward remittances. तो remittances से related contraventions were there of the guidelines. That's why Citibank and IDBI Bank were penalized by RBI. Next one is the SEBI registered stockbrokers no longer need prior approval. That means any NOC, etc. from SEBI to set up their subsidiaries or enter into a joint venture for securities market activity in GIFT City, Gujarat. Now this can be very significant step, right? जितने भी SEBI registered stock brokers हैं, उनको अपनी subsidiary establish करनी है in the GIFT City, or they want to enter into a joint venture with any entity for securities market activities. अभी कोई SEBI से NOC लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? No objection certificate, no such thing would be required. They can now operate under a separate business unit within their existing stock broking entity. This is the thing. Now moving on to banking news. So you have HDFC Bank. HDFC, remember which one? HDFC Bank has launched Diplomat or Embassy Fixed Deposit. Diplomat या Embassy Fixed Deposit launch किया है. This, of course, as the name is suggesting, exclusively is available for the diplomats. जो आपके diplomats होते हैं, non-diplomatic staff and diplomatic missions, इनके लिए fixed deposit launch किया. So this can be very important. Please remember, HDFC Bank ने. And these are foreign currency terms deposit. So foreign currency में it can be maintained, available only in US dollar. Remember this information also. It is available only in terms of dollars. The minimum deposit amount would be 5,000 US dollars equivalent. 5,000 US dollars equivalent. Additional deposit can be maintained in the multiples of $1,000, right? $1,000. There is no mention of maximum deposit as such. So, and also automatic renewal is not allowed for embassy deposits. You have deposits of 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Automatic renewal नहीं होगा, आपको करवाना पड़ेगा. So this is important. Coming from HDFC Bank. Next one. The RBI recently has informed that regional rural banks will get 5 more years. Remember this thing. How many years? 5 more years beginning with the current financial year for what? To amortize additional pension liabilities. Recently pension में बहुत सारे changes हुए हैं. You know that, right? Pension से related rules, provisions have been modified. तो पेंशन से रिलेटेड बहुत चीजें हुई हैं. नाउ टू इम्प्लीमेंट दैट इट टेक्स टाइम, है ना. सो आरबीआई हैज सेड कि जितने भी रीजनल रूरल बैंक्स हैं दे विल गेट एडिशनल 5 more years टू एमोर्टाइज इट. एमोर्टाइज करना मतलब क्या होता है? उसको स्प्रेड कर देना, टू स्प्रेड इट फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम सो दैट इट कैन बी फर्दर इम्प्लीमेंटेड क्विकली इफ इट कैन नॉट बी, राइट. सो फॉर द इफेक्टिव इम्प्लीमेंटेशन 5 साल और मिल जाएंगे. अच्छा, अब with this regard, what are the compliance requirements for RRB? So RRBs must allocate at least 20% of total pension liability each year. तो जितना भी टोटल पेंशन लाइबिलिटी होती है आरआरबीज को उसका 20% एटलीस्ट एलोकेट करना पड़ता है. पेंशन लाइबिलिटी मस्ट बी फुल्ली अकाउंटेड as per applicable accounting standards. RRBs must mention accounting policies in notes to account. So remember, this is the static portion. Pension related unamortized expenditure will not be deducted from tier 1 capital. तो जो अनएमोर्टाइज्ड है उसको टीयर 1 से नहीं डिडक्ट करेंगे, बट जो एमोर्टाइज्ड है इट कैन बी स्प्रेड फर्दर फॉर 5 years. तो आपको सिर्फ यहाँ पर न्यूज इतनी ध्यान रखनी है कि RRBs will get 5 more years to implement all these changed provisions regarding your pension. I hope this is clear, everyone. So that is it for 21st March CA. Let's discuss the top 5 MCQs now. All right, first question in front of all of you. Which of the following entities has launched a dedicated website for municipal bonds to enhance the credibility and visibility of such bond markets in the country? किसने एक dedicated website launch की है for the municipal bonds? Which of the following? Anyone? Very good. So it has been launched by NSE. Remember, option B is the correct option here. NSE. NSE has launched this. Next one. SEBI has recently introduced a regulatory framework to ensure that the designated employees of the asset management companies, they have their interest aligned with those of the mutual fund investors, unit holders jo hote hain, right? The skin in the game requirements. So tell me the date from which it is going to be effective from. Very good. 1st April 2025. 1st April 2025. Option A. Next, which of the following bank has introduced diplomat or embassy fixed deposit, which is available only for diplomats and only in US dollars? Well done. So it is HDFC Bank. Option C. Okay, just a second. Yeah, HDFC Bank, right? Next one. Question 4. RBI recently has said that regional rural banks will get how many additional years beginning from the current financial year to amortize the additional expenditure in light of revision of pensions. Pensions जो रिवाइज किया उसमें जो भी additional expenditure है उन सारी चीजों को implement करने के लिए कितने extra साल RRBs को मिलेंगे? Very good. 5 more years, right? 5 more years. 5 more years, option D. Next one is SEBI has introduced again this skin in the game requirement. So you have to tell me under this framework minimum percentage required to be invested with the inclusion of ESOPs if any in slab 1 is. Slab 1 में हम उस कैटेगरी की बात कर रहे हैं जिसमें ESOPs इंक्लूडेड है, तो मिनिमम कितना अपने ग्रॉस एनुअल ग्रॉस इनकम का ग्रॉस CTC का the designated employees have to invest into mutual funds. Very good, very good. So it is including ESOPs, it is 10%, and slab 1 में excluding ESOPs it would be, slab 1 में excluding ESOPs it would be, tell me, 12.5? 12 है या 12.5 है? Yeah, 12.5, right? So next one is your learning exercise for today. This is your learning exercise. Which of the following recently has secured financial services permission to establish a global sports venture capital fund? Okay, this is your homework question. Tell me the answer in the comment section. Last class में जो question हमने discuss किया था, SEBI has proposed changes in the norms for EBP, electronic book provider, and RFQ platform. So I asked you, the green shoe portion in the issue is proposed to be how many times of the base issue size? So yes, the correct answer is 3 times, right? So 3 times is the right answer. Very good. Girish Pradhan, Rajashekhar, Harshal Gupta, Shagun Gupta, all of you have provided the right answer. 3 times it is going to be the green shoe portion. So that's it for today's current affairs class. I hope you have enjoyed the class. We have discussed lot of important guidelines, news coming from SEBI. Okay. And one more thing, the current affairs we are providing you, banking finance news, so we are covering in the class itself. Reports, indices, ये सब आपको content में दिए हुए हैं already, right? So everything is being provided to you in the content, but sometimes they do not require so much of discussion. You just can save your time and go through it quickly. So the content, if you go through it, will be sufficient for all the examinations. No doubts about that, right? So thank you so much for staying tuned. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a great day. Thank you.